Lee Bond walked into the hospital with a tiny cut on his finger.
I wasn't really concerned with a little over three-quarters of an inch cut.
9 hours later, he was carried out in a body bag.
I never dreamed of what they would do to him. But I had to live with that because I did tell him that he'd be okay.
Cruel hand of fate. Cops say he placed lurid ads to seduce teenagers.
I love teaching young girls to make love.
But the girl who answered the ad wasn't underage. She was undercover.
Well, I'm going to be 14 in a couple of weeks.
Baby face fate.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maureen O'Boyle. Welcome to A Current Affair for this Thursday, May 13th. We'll talk exclusively with the woman who told cops she was raped by TV star Mario Lopez in just a moment. But first tonight, Carol and Frank Bond will never get over the shock of what's happened to their wonderful son, Donnie. His visit to the emergency room for a minor cut ended in death. John Johnston investigates the hospital trip that has dealt this entire family a cruel hand of fate.
I have 5 sons, and he was really closer to me than any of them. And there was never a time he walked out the door that he didn't tell me he loved me. When he was away, he would call and say, Mom, what are you? How are you? I love you.
Carol and Frank Bond will never hear from their son Donnie again. Dead at the age of 21 after suffering an injury on a farm in Litchfield, Kentucky. An injury that hardly seemed life-threatening at the time.
I wasn't really concerned with a little over three-quarters of an inch cut. I've had my other sons in with broken bones and cuts and things a whole lot serious than that.
You don't cut your finger and 9 hours later die.
But that's exactly what did happen to Donnie Lee Bond. He nicked his finger on a table saw while working on his grandfather's farm. A cut so minor, it had stopped bleeding by the time he reached the hospital.
It was right there, and it's just about three-quarters of an inch, I guess. Anytime anybody ever had a cut, you felt like it needed stitches. I always thought it was supposed to be done immediately, you know. And I took him right on over to the hospital.
It was just before midnight on March 1st, 1991, when Donnie Lee Bond came here to the Hardin Memorial Hospital for treatment on his cut finger. It was supposed to be no big deal. After all, this was a healthy, strong, strapping 21-year-old man. In fact, court records show it was only supposed to take about a half an hour for the entire procedure. Donnie Lee Bond did check out of this hospital about 2 hours later on a slab with a toe tag, dead.
I never dreamed of what they would do to him. But I had to live with that because I did tell him that he'd be okay.
What happened to Donnie Bond from the time he checked in to the time he died is not a hospital story, but a horror story. According to court papers, Donnie was given the wrong anesthetic. His injury was so minor, a local anesthetic was ordered. But the anesthetic he got turned him blue, threw him into convulsions, stopped his heart, and killed him.
It was administered in a fashion that is not supposed to be administered, resulting in very rapid collapse, cardiac arrest, seizure activity, and death.
During court depositions, the hospital revealed an anesthesiologist was on duty, but not in the operating room. In his testimony, Dr. Carl Hubbard claims he ordered one of the nurses to get lidocaine, considered a safe local anesthetic. Hubbard said the nurse brought back used Novocaine, a stronger anesthetic instead, and he administered it without checking. Within an hour, Donnie was dead.
The doctor came out and he told us that Donnie had had an allergic reaction to the anesthetic. I said, he's all right, and he said, no, he had a fatal reaction and he died.
Hi, Dr. Hubbard. My name's John Johnston.
Dr. Hubbard is still practicing. I caught up with him on his way into his office. We wanted to know if Donnie's death was an allergic reaction or a fatal mistake.
You can't answer any of the questions for me? I mean,
everything's written on the depositions.
I don't understand how a guy can check in with a cut finger and end up dead.
Well, I have nothing further to say.
read the depositions.
No one said they were sorry or they made a mistake or nothing. It was just that your son died and he was gone.
First of all, a qualified, trained anesthesiologist should have given the anesthetic. The second factor is the wrong local anesthetic was given.
Elizabeth Frost, an anesthesiologist at the New York Medical College, studied the medical records for the Bond family.
The outcome, of course, was dreadful. It was just inexcusable. I think that you're right. He had a small cut on his finger. It should have been completely untoward. There should have been no complications whatsoever.
According to court records, this is not Dr. Hubbard's first mistake. In February of 1989, he was sued for a knee operation. His patient claims he operated on the wrong knee. They settled out of court, and Hubbard continued his practice.
Is there something to hide?
No, there's nothing to hide.
Hardin Memorial Hospital told us they had done a thorough investigation, but refused to answer any questions on camera. In a written statement, the hospital called Donnie's death an unfortunate accident, claiming it shared the family's pain. That would be tough to imagine.
I'm a grown man. And I get up sometimes in the middle of the night, sit on the side of the bed, and my eyes get wet, you know?
Donnie's grandfather has 107 acres here in Litchfield, Kentucky. He was going to make Donnie a partner. They were going to work the land together. It was their dream, a dream now that can never come true.
It's been hell. I mean, that's just all I can say is it's just been, we exist and that's it. You think about it the first thing in the morning and the last thing at night. That's what we think of. He's never out of my mind, never.
Such a shame. The Bonds case against Dr. Hubbard and Hardin Memorial Hospital goes to court in September.